All right, back with another tier list. Don't worry, didn't go away. I know coming out a little bit later because there were obviously games on Monday when I usually made these, and I figured, in the regular season I'll make it with, without one game, but in playoffs I should wait. And there were two games too. And then yesterday I was still traveling back from Tampa to Orlando. I was making videos on my tablet. I figured I'd rather, give it, wait till I get here so it can, I could have still done it, but it wouldn't have been as high quality, and I wanted to keep it the way we typically do it. So, yeah, without further ado, that's a long-winded explanation that I'm sure no one cares about. We just want to argue about which tier belongs in which place. Last week, a lot of people were mad at the main team I got in the comments was people felt like I was too low on the Cleveland Browns, which, if anything, I was too high on them, as it turns out. Although, again, that's part of the fun, is arguing about this. I'm sure I'll be wrong about something here, so let's just get into it. I did have the Cowboys pretty high up. Favorites, though, are, again, it's going to stay San Francisco and Baltimore. They were here last week and didn't play. So, yeah, these are still going to be the favorites out of each conference. With what they've done in the regular season, they belong here. Now, does that mean anyone can, someone is going to surpass them or not? It's certainly possible. Also, I should mention I changed some of the tiers. I went from legit threats to big threats just because I think people got a little confused about that. Because if people, someone wasn't in that tier, they'd say, wait, that team isn't a legit threat? They can't win the Super Bowl? No, every team here can win the Super Bowl. All you have to win is 3 games. It's totally possible. But so just change the wording there. Then I can see it. As it is, like, yeah, I could see that happening. If I squint, I can see it. And then finally, at least they made the divisional round. The Bills have to be in the big threats tier. Now, wasn't an ideal victory, I think, against Pittsburgh. I think, we would have probably liked to see them win by 30. At the same time, though, their defense is still playing really good football. And they still have Josh Allen and they still have Stephon Diggs. Like, there still is plenty of reason to believe they could be a threat, but obviously they're not in the favorites category. The Texans are a bit of a tough one. I'm trying to figure out if they're in the I can see it or if I squint, I can see it tier. I think I'm still going to lean, and maybe I'm just being too low on them, on the if I squint, I can see it. I just think that the reality is I think they're going to be underdogs in every game from here on out. If they play Baltimore, even if they win against Baltimore in a dominating fashion, I still think people would favor Buffalo or Kansas City over them. And even if they make it to the Super Bowl, I think they would be favored there. Again, just got to win 3 games. Anyone can do it. I'm not saying I can't see it doing it. I just think it's like, okay, how are they beating Baltimore? Well, they need this to go right and this to go right and that to go right. How are they beating Kansas City? Well, they might need this and this to go right, right? That one feels more possible. But, how are they beating San Francisco? Well, they need this and this. So that's why I have them there. For the Lions, though, I'm going to just put them in I can see it tier, personally. Again, they do need a couple things to go right? I mean, one great thing would be if San Francisco could lose next week. Don't even have to worry about that. Although, Green Bay, divisional matchup, you don't really want that either, but I think you would take it over San Francisco. I think San Francisco is really good, basically, is my main takeaway. But, the defense is still wide. I can't put them quite in the big threats tier or the favorites tier. While it did have some moments, again, they make plays, right? Like, this defense isn't just a trash defense, but they give up a ton of yards still. They let you move the ball, and I still just feel like at some point it's going to come back to bite them. But here's the advantage they have that Houston doesn't. Houston's now the lowest seed in the AFC, and while Detroit is only 1 seed higher in the NFC, with Dallas losing, they get the home game against Tampa Bay, which they're 6-point favorites, and there's even a chance they could get a home game in the conference championship, again, if San Francisco loses, which I'm not betting on, but just it's possible, right? So, and again, they can score with anybody, so I can see them out. I can see them beating San Francisco in a game where they don't win the turnover battle. Again, I'm not sure if I'm betting on it, but I can see it, which is why they're into I can see it here. Kansas City, the next team, they are still big threats. Sorry, everyone. I know. We all wanted to write off the demise of Patrick Mahomes. So you think you're the Patriots dynasty? No. Clearly not. Well, they still have a long ways to go to do that. But yeah, they're still big threats. They are. I think that's a kind of a coin flip game, them and Buffalo, and whoever wins. Again, I think that they'll be, they'll put up a fight against Baltimore or Houston. I think, again, like I said, I think they would both be favored against Houston. I like Houston. Houston's a good team. that's the issue with doing a tier list with only 8 teams. It's like you gotta differentiate some of these, and they're all good teams. But I do think that they would stand a chance against Baltimore. I really do. I think either team could, make something happen against the Ravens. Although, like I said, Ravens would be favorites. That's why it says favorites there. 2 teams left, excuse me. The Green Bay Packers, they're also in the if I squint, I can see it tier. Listen, some Packers fans were seemingly unhappy with some, I don't know. It's always kind of tough to gauge things, because sometimes I remember when I first started doing this, I would see some comments of someone being super mad about something I said, and I kind of would respond, and they were like, oh, no, yeah, I get your point. I was just, just talking. And sometimes it's kind of hard to realize, like, oh, yeah, some people just, like, they're just talking to talk on the, comment section. So, but I still think Packers fans, they feel like their defense is underrated because of what it's done the past 3 weeks. And the past 3 weeks have been legitimately great. That being said, couple things. One, you're playing San Francisco. That's not easy. And 2, the 3 weeks prior, you gave up 30 to Bryce Young and then let Baker Mayfield and Tommy DeVito each win Offensive Player of the Week against you. So because of that, I still have concerns with the defense. Is it possible to turn a new leaf? Absolutely. It's absolutely possible. And if that happens, well, then maybe they stand a chance against San Francisco. If they can get past San Francisco, I do think they can get past, they certainly have a chance against Detroit and Tampa Bay. Even though they split the series against Detroit and lost to Tampa Bay, I think they would easily have a chance for sure. And then, if you're in a Super Bowl, you have a chance, obviously. So, a huge game against San Francisco. But as of right now, kind of have to squint to see them doing it. But hey, we'll see what happens. Like I said, 8 teams left. Anything can happen. Tampa Bay, I wasn't sure if I was going to put anyone in at least they made the divisional round tier. I think that's still where I have them. Listen, I'm having fun as a Tampa Bay fan. And like I said, 3 games. Anyone can win 3 games, right? Like, it's totally possible to, go on a run here. You win a couple and then maybe get lucky on the third, right? And I do think that, they have a chance against Detroit. I actually think they match up okay in that one. They lost to them earlier in the year, but that was a very different, really both teams are very different at that point. So I still think they have a puncher's chance in that one. Like I said, 8 total teams, anything can happen. But again, if they can get past Detroit, which I still think is, an uphill climb, they then have to probably beat San Francisco and then probably beat Baltimore. That's the most likely outcome. That seems very unlikely, right? Feels like they have a chance to get to the conference championship game, which is insane given where this season started. They were, 4-7 at one point this season, to now be in position where they can legitimately, get this far. It's amazing, but even if they get smoked by Detroit, which is certainly in the cards, hey, at least they made the divisional round. So, yeah, those are my tier rankings. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.